Hi, my name is Vickie Storlie, and I'm from a small town in southern Minnesota called Clarks Grove. And I'm going to be demonstrating the twisted cap. So it opens at the top, and it could be used as either I would call it a neck warmer from my neck of the woods, or a headband because it would could get your head through it. And then you're supposed to just be able to like flip it down, and it should close back up. Christina Smith has a fingerless or a twisted mitten pattern that she does, and that's kind of what this is. This is not my pattern or idea or anything, but I was asked by Judy Weller to see if we could make it on the Bumblebee or do something like that. So,
do you have a pattern for this on the Bumblebee?
No, I don't have a written pattern, but we'll kind of go through it. So what I've already done, I have 90 needles, cylinder needles in my machine, and I'm using 30 rubber needles. So every third rubber slot is filled at half pitch, which means the cylinder needles are going to come out, or the rubber needles are going to come out between the cylinder needles. So I've already have my waste yarn on there. So I started with the cylinder needles, and then I put the rubber needles in and knit them into my waste yarn, because at the end we're going to run the rubber needles, which gives it the extra stretch in there. So right now let's see, now I got to knit first. So I'm adding my, I got to get that one out of there. I'm taking my waste yarn off on needle number 90, and I need to get my project yarn to knit on needle number 1. There we go. We're gonna lift them up, and once I get them out of the way, or get the double-eyed needle, I'm just gonna thread it through there, and it's nice and thin, so it fits down between the cylinder and the rubber. I might have got that one over there a little bit. And actually, after the several classes on the ribbing and stuff the last couple days, I actually have this thing ribbing without, I shouldn't say it dropping any stitches, but so when I knit my sample I'm going to put the rubber stitches on, that's got runs. So if you drop a stitch, it's not like it's a big deal, a rubber stitch, because you're going to run them, but pick them up if you notice it's missing, because you lose, that's the little extra stretch in there. I'm a big fan of watching my rubber needles, because if you don't watch them, they will run or drop off. They do. It's like the machine knows you're not paying attention, and they fall off.
Just not been successful.
And
So how many rows?
so I would, this one I knit 200 rows. And so we're not knitting 200 rows, but I'm going to, yeah, but yeah. So about 200 rows or so.
So one skein of this yarn that you're talking about here.
Okay, what I started with was what I had left on this cone.
Well, but you can do a hat with one skein.
Yes,
Okay.
because I had this much extra.
The extra, okay.
Yeah. And there's like 900, isn't there like 900 yards, 600 yards? Yeah.
678 yards.
Okay.
100
On that.
yards.
So let's just say we've knit our 200 rows, and I'm going to go back over here. To swap out my yarn. So when I get done now, I'm Kitchenering these the stitches at the end. So I'm going to wrap it around here at least 3 times. So at least 3 times and cut it. And they didn't bring anything else up to all the waste yarn in, which I probably should have had a cone, but hopefully this will work. Wrap it around the machine 3 times. So I wrapped it around. Where do we go here? Lost it already. Here's my scissors. So my yarn knotted in the end. So we're just gonna. So I got all this hanging down here. Bring in my. Waste yarn again. And I need to pull, whoops. So I need to pull this through, and I actually pulled it out of this last stitch there. I'm going to bring this one down because I want that one to knit. Needle number 1. Take my double-eyed needle. You try and get it so it doesn't wrap around your needles when you're putting it back through, which I think I just did there, but we'll try and undo it. So we're just going to pull it all the way through to the middle and let it hang to the floor out of our way. So now I'm going to, with my rubber needle still in, I'm going to rib with my waste yarn. And so before I'm done with my waste yarn, I'm going to start taking my rubber needles out.
you're just letting that drop right away?
Yep, they're just gonna drop.
How tight is your tension on that?
It's loose, but it probably could be a little looser, but with the ribbing,
It's not like all the way loose.
no. Take the rubber off. And let's see, I might want to just knit a couple more here before. You want to start running your rubber stitches if they'll run. This is the old thing. When you don't want them to run, they run. And then when you do want them to run, you really got to work at it. Because it's easier to do it on the machine instead of taking it off, and then you've got all these loose stitches running around. So that'll be some of it. I'm just going to use the rest of my waist hair knot and take it off. So this is what it kind of looks like, and so there's one that probably didn't run yet. So it gets pretty loose. So now instead of setting my river at half pitch and moving this, I have a little piece of tubing in there.
For what?
It moves the river, it moves the fin. So it, instead of moving the river dial, this is my movement.
What does it sit on?
It hooks to the pin on the inside.
Slide it on and show you. Oh, I see.
Yeah, you slit the, I probably won't be able, there we go.
Perfect.
Hey, girl.
And what size tubing is that?
I was afraid you were gonna ask that. I'm not. This piece is like blank, but I wanna, no, I don't think it's that. It's not that big,
Quarter?
Possibly.
but we could probably measure it later on, just to
It looks
see.
like the tubing my husband uses in his fish aquarium. He'll just lose an inch of it. That's
And
okay.
there's been a 3D printed one
It's like the tubing
on, I think the pattern is on that Thingiverse.
Thingiverse it is, and he has one of those
Huh?
too. I can get you.
Do you know if the Thingiverse ones fit the Bumblebee?
That I don't know for sure.
Because,
They fit the Erlbacher, I'm
So,
pretty sure.
yeah,
well, they
They
have
did.
one for
Different
size
sizes.
cylinders.
Right.
I just.
but
It's gonna print what?
These
I guess the only thing would be is if the,
Because they don't fit on what you can't.
if this pin is,
These are for him.
if this pin is the same size all the way around,
I would think. It's the
Oh, yeah,
thickness
that's
of it.
right.
It would be the thickness because of the location of how far
That's
apart
true.
each one of the,
you're right.
of the,
But
whether it be a 40.
I've had this on the
60, 64.
Speedster, tried it on the Speedster also, or a 1925,
Yes.
one of them. Anyway, and that also worked.
Good.
So here's this. So here's my tube, and this is what how many ribber stitches I was dropping before. So getting this thing to rib without dropping stitches it's kind of a huge thing. So basically, I would turn the tube inside out and run all the ribber stitches. Just stick your finger up in there or pull them. And you run them all the way back into the waste yarn on the bottom. This does take some time and I usually do is I go around in the circle and try and get them all down to one kind of basic spot and work them around. Okay, so I'm not going to finish running all these because would take some more time. So basically, after I've got them all run, turn it back right side out, bring this side in. So a lot of the caps, the ends are the top, cinched up or something on the top. So this is where so I go in and I take the inside one and I twist it 180 degrees. Half a turn. So there's your twist on the top. And then I go down here and find whichever one is my longest. And I've got the rest of my yarn all tied up. And I Kitchener it closed around here.
Right.
So I Kitchener these together. And then, it's really not it's not like you're doing a sock and you probably want to be Kitchener pretty close. You want to make sure you get all your stitches kind of picked up. And then, I don't think I
Really good idea. I like it.
haven't, I don't think I don't know whichever one of these, if they've actually, some of these, if I've washed them or not, I don't remember. So.
Last 2 years.
But they will fit like an adult guy, huh?
Oh,
that's great.
Nice.
That looks nice on you. Could have used it during a mask for a mask during COVID even.
Right, or I guess
Yeah,
there's your
hairband, that ear
headband
warmer.
or whatever, or ear warmers or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then take it off and flap it around a little bit.
That's great.
Okay, so this is an odd question, and I'll ask it off.
So, and
Because it would be using a different brand of machine. Does that matter?
no,
Like
you could,
Like if you know how you can make the hat out of the Laguerre or the other ones with the 72 needle with that. Can you do it the same? Can you use one of those machines too, as opposed to the Bumblebee?
I would think you could and just use all the rubber needles.
yeah, you'd either have to use them all or
You know, like
you'd have to try it.
Yeah.
But if you make a tube, all you have to do is turn it. So
And then instead of cinching it at the top.
Right,
I
you're-
really love that.
that's
idea.
where your
I really
twist
do
is.
too.
That's cool.
I do
So-
love that. That's great. Thank you.
And if you didn't want to make it the ponytail and you wanted to make it two-tone, you would end up Kitchenering.
You could do half of it. Are you saying, could you do half of it? You could probably
Yeah,
do
like
half of it.
So
You would
But
just
you-
switch, you would just do the color change, just
Right,
like
in the
you did.
middle, in the
Yeah, in
middle
the
you could.
middle,
And just
Right.
not twist it.
and then you could
You could
have
still twist it.
You
You
would
could-
pull it.
interchangeable though. You could have it like hers yellow on one side and then turn it inside out and wear it
Right,
purple on the other
right.
side. Yeah.
So
Where
this
she's
is,
got one.
so this is another twisted one using, this is ice yarn. This is a fingering weight. This one probably is a little smaller. I know I couldn't get it over my, pull it down over my head. And there's just another blue one, but just some other things made on the Bumblebee as long as we're here. So this is a stocking cap. And this one is a smaller one, but it's cinched at the top.
Did
She's
you
got
run
the two.
every other?
Nope, this is just knit. There's no ribbing in this.
She did that. for
So,
two different.
right, and
Love it.
basically maybe the bigger size, the longer you make the no more rows you make.
Uh-huh.
And this one just happens to be 2 colors, but you could do whatever. So I also have a 60 cylinder for my Bumblebee. So these are socks made on the 60 cylinder.
You could probably rib those just like you do the other. and
Right,
make
these
them
are-
Smaller.
These
I know
are
what you
1
mean.
by 1 to 3 by 1.
But you could probably do them rib like, all the way down, just do the heel if you wanted to, and not on the foot, and make them even tighter.
Yep. Here's a stocking cap on the 60 with, this is sport weight yarn. This is with all the rubber needles and all the cylinder needles in, so there's 120 stitches in it.
Would that fit you? Looks like it would. No? Yeah. A little tighter, if you made it longer, it would have easily.
You know,
Does it feel too tight?
it's a little tight, but it's not gonna fly off your head or anything.
Is it double thickness?
Nope, nope, these are just single.
What I was saying is if you make it longer, see, and it would be for a bigger head even.
Right, if you, and then, so I don't know that I'd make one of these again. This is a stocking cap scarf.
I love that.
There's 500 rows.
Holy.
So it is cinched at both ends. And it's doubled up for the cap. So this is actually, it's not, it's not tacked down or anything. And then you put it on your head and then just wrap it around your neck.
Was that did you say that was a 60 or a 90?
I
Cylinder.
think this is what
Looks
I've
like
got
a
on there.
90.
It looks like a 90, but I was
Now, wait a minute, no.
I didn't write that on here. It
Okay.
just says 500 rows.
Okay, so you're gonna need to count that for us.
No, somebody else can count that
But
one.
how far up, because you've got the head stopped up in there.
Right,
How far
so
up is that?
tucked in there?
It's just-
certain amount?
it's
Probably
just tucked in
tiny.
there.
Oh, so you can
Oh, it
change
is?
it, you don't have it
Right, you
secured?
could change that. So this is where the hat
But you don't have
part
it
is.
secured?
No.
anyway.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
You could if you wanted to.
You could, if you wanted to. But after knitting,
Hang along, yeah.
and then the thing is to some of these is to start with every other needle. So you're not cinching up all those needles or stitches. Just, here's a
I found that
dishcloth or
fascinating.
cloth or washcloth or whatever. It's made out of a
Cloth,
cotton.
I found that fascinating.
And then this is just a headband
That's what you helped me make the very first thing ever.
made on it. So when this one was made on the 60. So,
Help me with the very first thing.
but so that's kind of,
Size yarn did you use on the hat scarf?
The hat scarf. What size yarn? Is it just sock weight?
Sock weight?
yeah, I think it is. It's kind of got a sparkle to it.
You don't know how many grams that was.
There was, still didn't write that on there. There was over two skeins. Now whether they were actually 50 grams or 100, but I'm thinking they might have been at least two
Somebody's got a scale downstairs, you can weigh it.
Yeah,
I would guess it's two skeins.
yes, this stuff was, so this was all on the,
2 skeins of 100 grams.
because 500 rows is,
A lot.
yeah.
For that rib.
So 500 times 60 needles, or if it was in there, it was probably made on the 60.
No, that's made on the 90.
It's got.
You think it's made on the 90?
Yeah,
I think that's.
just hold up
Hold it
one
up
of
next to that other one that you did, that other 60 that you know was a 60 that you did.
Yeah, that's a-
Okay. So
it's made on the
90 stitches times 500
There's a lot of dang stitches.
rows is a lot of stitches. So,
But that's what I use.
But-
Because I use.
Yeah.
What is the actual term analogy of half-pitched bead? What's it- what-
half pitch is when your cylinder, or your rubber needles extend out between your cylinder needles.
Halfway
So they
between
don't normally do that, they don't
No.
go out that far?
No, you normally, well, they go out that far. You normally would take the cylinder needle out for the rubber needle. So it just gives you more stretch, or more stitches, more stretch a little bit. So, I mean, you can load this thing up with, 180 needles with your, but you also then have, your yarn, with the weight of your yarn is gonna make a difference, because you start knitting with 180 of those needles in there, it's gonna be kind of tight. So,
So if you're not doing 180 or 90 and 90, you can probably use sock yarn.
yes.
Okay.
So I had 120 needles in here. I had 90 cylinder needles and 30 rubber needles in here to make the,
So that was like every third needle on the rubber.
yep. And that kind of gave me, 3x1 or whatever. So I had 3 stitches and then so,
There's one question.
okay.
Why do you use the rubber? Can't you do the same thing without it?
To get the, so we run the rubber stitches to give us more stretch, to make it bigger, so and looser.
Yeah.
So we put the rubber stitches in there and then run them, so we have that extra stretch. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pull it over,
That's right, you told me that.
you know.
You gotta do the same thing.
Thank you.